Top story this week, chaos around the world. Well, a few areas of the world have been really dominating the global chaos news over recent years, but we've had some exciting new entrants into chaos news in the past week. We're going to start in South Korea. Since we last bugled, pretty much what we all expected to happen happened. The South Korean president attempted a military coup against himself in an effort to keep himself in power. It was thwarted, meaning that he's still in power, but not in as much power as he evidently wanted. He's now facing impeachment. This was after he declared martial law on Tuesday. And playing the martial law card, generally an attempt to show authority by someone who's failing to show any authority. And he did it so authoritatively that martial law collapsed after 6 hours, which is less than the length of a day of Test cricket. And in terms of revolutions, you want your revolution to last at least the length of a one-day international, James, I would say. Do you agree with that?
Thank you, Andy. It's always wonderful when you remind a New Zealander about one-day internationals.
I think the lesson to be learned here is, and I'll be honest, I learned it myself on Tuesday when I myself called martial law out on that pub, is that don't call martial law until you have the army in place. There's actually, I know it sounds like it's like just a reactionary thing to just say in the moment, like, sorry, no, I have two cards. But it is actually something you should plan for. And so one of the things I would say, just as a word of advice to anyone out there thinking about declaring martial law in future, is make sure the army's in place before you do it, because one of the reasons that his martial law declaration collapsed is because the cabinet was able to get into the building and vote it down before the army was able to secure the building against the cabinet. And so it's just basics like this that made the whole thing fall through.
Yeah, they always say, don't they, in military strategy, a key element is surprise, but I guess you don't want to surprise your own military. That's one of the fundamental parts of it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame, though, really. It's a shame because it was quite a clever idea to say, I don't want us to become more like North Korea, which is run by a military dictatorship. So what I'm going to do is essentially install myself as a military dictator. Like, I saw where he was going with that. Genius. It just fell through on the strategy of it.
Yeah.
I feel the Pacific has to take the blame here.
Okay.
It's very unfortunate because everything seemed to be fine in South Korea until we sent Bruno Mars to hook up with Rosie. And I just feel like a couple of weeks of pato, and they were just like, shut it all down. We get this smooth Hawaiian brother off our... Actually, do you know my favorite thing about Rosie from... Blackpink is that every bit of media you find about her in biographies is New Zealand and South Korean musician. And half of Blackpink is actually got strong New Zealand ties, which makes sense because Blackpink sounds like a New Zealand sports team. The All Blacks, the Black Caps. It just sounds like our gay rugby team, the Blackpinks. I'm like, okay. And with such a strong pop culture, K-pop force with ties to New Zealand, I can honestly tell listeners, New Zealand has no idea what to do with that. They're absolutely lost. You've been to New Zealand, Andy, Ria, I don't know if you've been to New Zealand. Beige is the color de jour of that country. The sports teams are black, but beige is the vibe. And with Kate, they're just like, can we put them in Tigers films or something? They have no idea what to do. And I just think it was too much Pacific vibes coming into South Korea, and they just panicked and called martial law. Though, did either of you two hear about the South Korean Democratic Party leader who live streamed himself breaking into parliament?
That's got to be a first, isn't it?
The other thing is he's 60 years old. Is that Lee Jae-myung, 60 years old, scaled the fence. Which was difficult because he's legally disabled from an injury to his arm from when he was a child laborer in a rubber factory. Also, back in January, he was stabbed in the neck. And if that sounds badass, he's also serving a suspended 1-year sentence for election crimes. And he's the leader of their Democratic Party. I mean, Americans would kill for that kind of backstory. I still love that the vote took him down, by the way. Martial law. Actually, we've taken the vote.
It just
democracy wins again.
President Yoon had accused the opposition of paralysing the government with, quotes, anti-state activities, which is what a lot of rulers and ruling parties now use for just being in opposition. It's a kind of interchangeable term in modern democracy. He announced a 6-point decree which banned political activities and parties' false propaganda. Surely that's the whole point of propaganda, is to be false, isn't it?
Mm. But false propaganda. So they were hitting him with the truth, because that's all that false propaganda is.
Yeah, strikes ban and gatherings that incite social unrest, which I think could pretty much include all sporting events. So it collapsed, as we said, within hours. I don't know if they had a lunch and a tea break in that 6 hours of martial law. And now President Yoon is being investigated by South Korean police for alleged insurrection, which on current trends in the democratic world should bake him in for a successful re-election within 4 years, and he's facing possible impeachment. So basically, I mean, this is just the classic playbook now for baking yourself into power.
I mean, I know it's a serious story, but am I the only one going, man, I cannot wait for the TV adaptation of this, because it's Korean drama. You know it's going to be good.
Yeah, but in the TV version, only one man will be left standing, and it'll be that guy with the injury that got stabbed in the neck that live streamed the whole thing.
Knife still in the neck.
Yeah,
hair blowing in the wind.
There, just one rubber arm hanging down. It did it all.